Becky Galentine, and I run Bruised Black Vintage. Since 2011, I've been curating and restoring vintage fashion to be sold worldwide. Most people used to compliment my thrifted dresses, so I wanted to be able to provide that, and I always found really cute stuff that were in sizes that weren't my own. I think I was 13 when I found my first vintage dress. We were at a Goodwill in Punxsutawney, and I was with my parents who were antiquers, so I found this dress that was 60s, and it was velvet and floral, and I just was enamored with vintage clothing at that point, because it was wow, I can look unique without going and spending a ton of money on that. I started photography with a class in 2010, and it was just kind of your average photography, but then when I started taking photos for the store and combining the two is when it really took off, because people noticed there was something unique about them, and that was the combination of the clothing and my work. I started being inspired by Debbie Harry when I was in high school, and I wanted to look like that. And then as I got older, I wanted to be like an Audrey Hepburn and Marilyn Monroe. So really powerful women in history, taking their inspiration and molding it into something that is palatable to be worn day to day. Well, my parents started eBay when it first opened in 1998, so I was watching that my whole life. I started dabbling and selling my freshman year.
Running a store from home is no easy task. Becky starts her mornings shipping orders to customers. On weekends, she sources or searches for vintage clothing. After sourcing, she cleans and restores the clothes. She then schedules time during the next week to photograph herself modeling the outfits. Next, she edits the photographs, measures the clothing, adds a price, and lists them online. Once an item is sold, she packages it, and it's ready to ship.
I'd say it's pretty hectic, running it from the house, because people will come over and want to check things out or hang out, and I can't have pets where everything is at. I have to have a whole room dedicated to inventory, and a lot of times I'll come home with a big haul and there's just clothes everywhere, and especially before the events, I'm pricing and tagging in the living room because, you live it whenever you choose to run a business from your home.
There are many challenges Becky faces managing Bruised Black Vintage, such as dealing with competitors and time management.
Most of the time, I try to not pretend that they don't exist, but not give weight to that. I really wish everyone would kind of do well in the industry, and they are trying to make their own and preserve what was left behind, which is important. Dealing with Etsy just changed CEOs, so selling on Etsy is one thing, but there's also coming up with enough traffic, having your own domain, and I think that another challenge would be dealing with the customer service and constantly being positive. I never get to express anything negative. I'm never negative online. You'll see when I'm talking, as much as I'm having a bad day, it's check it out, and every minor thing is a production. I make everything constantly this positive thing because I want to be seen as a role model and someone you would want to be like. You just have to constantly be working. You don't get a day off. Even on Sundays, you'll have someone who needs something overnighted. It's a priority, and most people can't boast that they have 100% positive feedback, and I do for that reason. I don't really think what I do is something that anyone can duplicate. If you look at my photographs, I think they speak for themselves. Anyone that would try to do that, it would just be really obvious, and I haven't really had anyone succeed in doing exactly what I do yet.
Despite being an online store, Bruised Black Vintage still finds ways to connect with the community by hosting pop-up events.
A pop-up event is whenever an online business becomes realized, if only for a night or a couple nights, at a physical location. Whenever I do pop-ups, it's usually a month or more of sourcing to have really unique pieces, contacting the paper, and promoting on Facebook. And I do old school things like leaving flyers up around town and stuff like that. I don't believe in creating a Facebook event and just expecting people to come to you and give you money. It's networking. It's an opportunity to, contact a local business and say, hey, I want this food to be here for this event, and you put money in other people's pockets. So pop-ups are more than just, making quick sales to me.
Always planning ahead, Becky has many ideas for the future and maintaining the success of Bruised Black Vintage.
I realized you can't pigeonhole yourself, especially someone like me. I can't stick to one style because it doesn't really fit. You need to have that eclectic vision. So I think that the branding is slowly moving away from being less of just one style to trying to fit something for everyone while moving up in quality, because my original quality was it was vintage, it'll work. But now I'm it can't just be vintage. It has to be vintage, and when someone puts it on, they're gonna feel like $1 million.
Bruised Black Vintage plans to open up a physical store when the time is right. You can shop online at their website, www.bruisedblackvintage.com, and you can check out their Facebook page for the latest updates and info for upcoming events.